Game time. Put me in, coach. Today we're talking about the biggest disappointments in this NBA season.
What?
I have four things, so let's get right to it. Number one is my Lakers. My Lakers were terrible this year. We had a defensive-minded coach, but we had offensive-minded players.
Sometimes the stat sheet don't show exactly how you may have played the game.
Now, that really didn't match, especially with the personnel, because our offensive-minded players were older players who weren't even, I hate to say this, but it's kind of true. They looked like they weren't even capable of playing defense, or maybe
Well, I'm out, man. Y'all niggas tripping.
maybe they just didn't like the coach who was coaching them. Either way, it was a terrible season for my Lakers. And a lot got exposed, especially with my guy, Russell Westbrook. I was looking for him to be the savior, to be the point guard for my Lakers. This was going to be the year that it was going to be the Nets versus the Lakers. And I was like, we got the edge because we have three superstars opposed to the Nets only having two superstars. Well, actually it was three at the time because it was LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook versus KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. That was supposed to be the matchup. That's what I was looking forward to, but that did not happen. Now, before I get into the rest of this countdown, because remember, there's four, that was number one. Before I do that, I need you guys to do me a huge favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video like an assist, because here we're talking basketball. So you're going to get commentary, highlights. Most importantly, we're going to cover the biggest stories in the world of basketball. So without further ado, let's continue this countdown. Number two, no Zion Williamson. The Pelicans needed him. Where was he? At home, stuffing his face. Now, I'm not the guy to tell you what not to eat and what to eat, but I am the guy to tell you, hey, come on, do you see yourself? Do you see that you're supposed to be the man and you look like you don't want to play at all? The Pelicans have to be disappointed at the fact that Zion showed up even bigger. Just as a person on the outside looking in, I wanted to see Zion on the court. I wanted to see him dunk on some people. I wanted to see him muscle some people around. I wanted to see if somebody was going to block his shot. I wanted to see what Zion was going to do because the hype behind Zion is real, but he's not showing it because we really haven't been able to see him play. And the Pelicans really needed him. They got CJ McCollum at the end of the year, and they actually made it into the playoffs, where, once again, if they would have had him, I think they would have been able to make a little bit more noise. But then again, I don't know. It would have depended on if CJ could have actually facilitated a lot better, meaning get Zion some open looks, some open dunks. But who knows? Zion has to keep himself, Zion has to get himself healthy, physically, mentally, and then we get to see that man on the court. Number three, no Ben Simmons at all. Mental issues, mental illness is a real thing. And I'm starting to see that with a guy like Ben Simmons, because I'm wondering, how can you be $100 million athlete and have these type of issues where somebody could say some things to you or do some things to you to the point to where you don't even want to suit up. You don't even want to play basketball. And he made a stance for not playing the entire year. Now, at first, I understood it because I'm like, okay, well, if you really don't want to play for the Sixers, if these guys really cause you that much mental harm, I can fully understand not wanting to play for the Sixers. But then when you got traded to the Nets, he still didn't suit up. He still didn't play. And then it came out that he had some type of back injury or some other type of injury that was going on. So I was just like, wow, what a season for the Nets. What a season for the Pelicans to not have their two most generational impact stars. For them not to have those guys is crazy, because those guys were supposed to add to their legacy. Because those guys were actually supposed to be the guys. Now, if you playing NBA 2K, the two hardest matchups you're going to have is playing Ben Simmons at the point guard position.
This man too small!
Because he can back down pretty much anybody, and with both athletic abilities and their speed and their strength, it's just kind of hard to play against them, because if you're having Zion set screens for you, more than likely that player is not getting over that screen, which means you're going to be open. And then when you have a guy like Ben Simmons playing the point guard position, I mean, how do you defend that? Because now, when you have a guy like KD and Kyrie on the wings, ready to go one-on-one, ready to catch and shoot, you got Ben Simmons coming off of screens, what do you actually do? What can you do? So those were two huge blows for the Nets and for the Pelicans. So I'm interested to see, is Ben Simmons actually going to come back, or have we seen the last of Ben Simmons? Also, when it comes to a guy like Zion Williamson, is he going to get it together? Are the people around him going to start to protect him, or let him know, hey, big guy, you got to make sure that if you're going to eat, that you're going to work out 2 or 3 times harder, because you got to work that off. Your body is not going to be able to handle all of that weight. I'm wondering, is somebody going to be in Zion's ear letting him know what he needs to do? Because I would love to see the guy on the court, just like I'm sure you guys would like to see him on the court. And number 4, Kyrie not being able to play for basically the entire season. Now, he did get an opportunity to play in some home games where he was phenomenal. But all the games that he missed, it really hurt the team's overall chemistry, camaraderie, and that showed in the first round of the playoffs. But the reason I was disappointed was more so that the Brooklyn Nets decided that they were going to do this. So this was more on the Nets than it was the NBA, because there was only a few teams who wouldn't allow a guy like Kyrie, who wasn't, who didn't go get that thing. There was only a few teams where he would not have been able to play. One was Golden State, Toronto, and then the Brooklyn Nets, which again was strange because you're Xing out your own player. So to me, that made no sense at all. And I actually am still riding and standing up for a guy like Kyrie, because that took balls. Like, to say, you know what, no matter what none of y'all say, I'm not going to get that done.
I would never say anything negative about Kyrie Irving again.
I'm not going to let them put that in my body. So for me, that was respectful. I respect the stance, but I would have loved to see him play. Me and my accountant go back and forth on Kyrie, because I keep saying Kyrie should play the point guard position, not the shooting guard position. With his handles, with his ability to move around the court, he should be able to get guys open. Now, keep this in mind. You have a KD, you have a Seth Curry, you have a LaMarcus Aldridge, you have all of these different types of players who are very good at doing a specific thing. LaMarcus Aldridge can still score in the post, but you got to get it to him. Seth Curry, we know he's a Curry, he can shoot the ball. Well, Kyrie, penetrate, dish. And guess what? You got a guy like Kevin Durant, who really doesn't need anybody to set him up. But just imagine if Kyrie actually had a setup mentality for a guy like KD. The game would be so much easier for those two guys. But now that we went through my countdown, I'm interested to know, how do you guys feel? Was there anything that I missed? Was there an even bigger disappointment that I overlooked or that I forgot about? Let me know down in the comments under this video. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.